Hi guys, it's Martyn here, and welcome to the DVD Haul, episode 15. And today what we're going to look at is multi-feature discs. So these are discs so there's just one disc, but they house more than one film. So for example, here's 3 Western films. Now, one or two of these, including this one, you would have seen in my last long DVD haul review I did of December 2017. But I've started getting these recently because, if you think about it, they're cheap and you're getting more than one film. And yes, a lot of them are public domain, which you could instantly debate the quality, but you often find some hidden gems. So I thought, with the ones I have at the minute, I'll just take you through them and let you know what I've got. So this is the Western one, which I showed off in one of my last hauls. So you've got Apache Rifles, Days of Jesse James, and Riders of the Whistling Pines. And on the back of all these, you'll see it has, the main star, running time, the year, and if it's in colour or in black and white. A lot of these I've come across so far are in black and white. That's a rare one in colour, it seems. And a little description. And this is a Western one. Now, some of these, this says, 3 classic Westerns of the silver screen. This is volume 7. So there's at least 6 more of these out there to find. This is the only Western one I have. I'm not really a Western guy. I haven't watched that many. I've seen some of the classics like My Darling Clementine, that was a pretty good one. But yeah, I'm not too up to speed with all this, so these will be interesting watches when I get to them. But that's the Western one. Let's take a look at this one, and this is 3 classic Sherlock Holmes films of the silver screen. Now, it's key to note that some of these are volumed in number, and some of these, like this one, are just standalone, so there's only this one in the Sherlock Holmes series. So you have Basil Rathbone in Sherlock Holmes and the Secret Weapon, Rathbone again in Terror by Night, and also Basil Rathbone in Dressed to Kill. And again, same thing on the back. So you've got all that. So Basil Rathbone starred in all 3 of these, and for anyone who thinks that name sounds ever so vaguely familiar, he was the lead character in Universal's Son of Frankenstein from 1939, which is arguably the best of the classic Frankenstein films. But those are 3 Sherlock Holmes ones. Again, I'm not really massively into Sherlock Holmes. I've seen the 2 recent ones with Robert Downey Jr., but in terms of the classics, I haven't really delved, so that'll be nice to have a look into. Now, this one I find quite interesting. This is 3 classic racing films of the silver screen. So you have The Wild Ride, you have The Fast and the Furious, no, not that one, and you have The Big Wheel. Now, this has got quite some interesting names. So Jack Nicholson is in this, and the box claims it's only his 2nd starring role, so that would be a very interesting watch. See a very young, very early Jack Nicholson performance. The Fast and the Furious was, it's a story by Roger Corman. It probably was, it might have been directed by him as well, but that's there. Oh, there you go, written and produced by Roger Corman, there you go. And The Big Wheel stars Mickey Rooney, very famous of his time. I'd see him in a racing film. I usually see him doing musical things, but nevertheless. So yeah, 3 classic racing films. I think this will be a very interesting watch, to say the least. The only annoying thing about this case, the disc is loose. The clips that hold in the DVD aren't all there, so it's a bit of a loose cannon. But, these will be good watches. Now, here's one people will like. I know this is 3 classic horrors of the silver screen, and this is volume 4. I do own volume 1 as well, that is back at home, but yes, I own that one. So this has Carnival of Souls, The Ape Man, and Messer of Lost Women. Now, Carnival of Souls I already own, for example. It's one of the best indie or lesser-known horror films of the 60s. I highly recommend that. This has Bela Lugosi in it, Dracula, of course. And this has Jackie Coogan, an actress I'm not overly familiar with. But again, does it say what it's from? OTV's The Addams Family, there you go. But yeah, that's some classic horror to sink your teeth into. Here's 3 classic comedies of the silver screen. This one's not numbered, so you have Laurel and Hardy with The Flying Deuces, Abbott and Costello with Africa Screams, and, interestingly, a single episode of The Abbott and Costello Show, which the back says is 60 minutes. This is a full-length episode, guest starring Jane Russell and Rhonda Fleming. But yeah, you've got the 2 movies here. So this is technically 2 feature films and a TV episode, but I guess it's 60 minutes, so it could be feature length. But yeah, 3 classic comedies. And then you have these 2, which are under the moniker of just 3 classics of the silver screen, and I have volumes 1 and volume 2. This one you would have seen in one of the DVD hauls with these 3 films here. Quick look on the back. Then there's Volume 2, which has My Favourite Brunette, The Road to Hollywood, and Suddenly. So there's some information about those. A lot of these, as you can tell, are quite old by the date on them. The most recent I've seen is 64, I think, with one of those films. And now, the standard look of these, I'll just show you the inside of what one of these looks like. It's nothing fancy, no inlay, just a single disc like this. And it'll say that right there, and the 3 films listed there. So yeah, nothing too fancy, of course. These are public domain films. You know, the presentation isn't exactly top-notch, but again, for what you're getting 3 films on 1 disc. And for anyone who's interested price-wise, for every single one of these, I've only paid 50p. Yep, just 50p for 3 films. Again, some of them might not be good, but again, like the ones I do know, like Carnival of Souls, I know that is pretty good. So I'd say if you come across these and you want to get into some old films, maybe just anything old, I'd say these are worth the pickup, because for 50p you're not exactly losing too much money there. That's all for this instalment of the DVD haul. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.